Hello, friends. It's the Matt Murphy Radio Show underway for another day on Super Talk. I'm sorry, I was giggling about the last time on. Underway for another day. You got to love Mr. Jimmy. I got so many texts and email correspondence about Mr. Jimmy's telephone call, which was the highlight of the show yesterday, and rightly highlighted in if you missed the Murphy Show yesterday, you missed a lot, as we begin the program today. It is Wednesday, June 5. We're in the middle of the week, just after high noon. May I be the first to say a good afternoon to you and yours. Hope everyone's doing well so far on this Wednesday. We're managing weather, a little janky, weather, little iffy, maybe some storms, maybe some lightning, maybe some thunder, whatnot. You know the drill. It's late spring after all, almost summertime in Middle Tennessee. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You probably knew that. My name is Matt Murphy. I hope you knew that. We're here till 3 o'clock until we hand off with Brian Wilson and The Drive at that time, and that's 180 minutes if my math is correct, and I need to get into it. It's episode 585 of our proceedings today. We'll get into the title of the episode in a moment, and it is day 95 of our Locks for Trump campaign, as I grow my hair out in honor of and support of our once and future president of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump. Convicted felon and future president, Donald J. Trump. We're on day 95. I expect that this will lead us to November, and at that time we'll make some decisions about whether or not Locks of Love will have me. One way or the other, I'm here for the ball club, and I hope you are too, in your own way. 615-737-9986. Speaking of, you can communicate with us on the phone lines. You can also communicate on the membersnutrition.com super text line. The numbers are the same, 615-737-9986. You can also communicate with me on social media platforms such as the X Machine, which apparently has pornography now. Hasn't it always?
Always has.
I mean, but not porn.
No, porn. Yeah.
Well, how do you know, Bill?
I'm of the age of majority.
I couldn't help that's a good answer. Is there really? I mean,
yes.
I know that there's women showing their business and showing what God gave them or what they bought from a doctor somewhere. But
there is legit X-rated porn on X and always has been.
Well, it's on brand for Elon Musk, and I'm not suggesting that Elon Musk wants to necessarily be a purveyor of porn. At the same time, Elon Musk has self-declared himself a fierce defender of and a purveyor of the First Amendment and free expression and free speech, and that's a part of it. So that would make sense. I guess what the announcement was yesterday, that on the X Machine, they are making effort to give you the ability to exclude yourself from that portion of X if you want to.
That is actually the real news. Is they've always had like quote unquote protections, but they're strengthening the ability to recognize and basically opt out of that being able to show up in your feed.
Maybe that's my problem. Maybe I have done the measures to opt out of it inadvertently, and that's why I'm not seeing all of this stuff on my X Machine.
There are rules about having to have your content labeled as quote unquote sensitive if you're posting adults only material, things like that.
Is this like X? What is it called? OnlyFans? Fans only?
No.
What is that?
OnlyFans.
By the way, I don't mean to present Bell. Okay, I take it back. I do mean to present Bell as an expert. What is OnlyFans? Or fans only?
OnlyFans.
Okay.
It's a subscription-based content portal where anyone, though it's largely used by people doing adult material.
You can say women.
So basically, if you want to access the content, whether it's somebody who's an artist posting their art or it's a porn star posting her videos, you can access that for a subscription-based fee that they choose, that the artist chooses.
So it's virtual prostitution, basically.
I guess you could call it that, but
I mean, I'm paying for access to see people naked. That's what people are. That's not what it's designed for, but that's what a lot of people are using it for.
That's not what it was designed for, but that is the overwhelming majority of what you will get on there in terms of your choices.
I mean, the only time in my life experience, not that I seek these things out, but the only time that I've heard reference to OnlyFans, it's some chick that thinks she's hot trying to get people to pay her money.
Right.
And sometimes she is, and sometimes she's not. But that's so I didn't know. One way or the other, these are the things you learn on the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You also learn that in addition to being Wednesday, June 5th, it is episode 585. You can find us on a variety of platforms, obviously from northern Alabama to southern Kentucky and all points in between. We're on 99.7 FM on your radio dial. We encourage you to go over there. You can also find us on any internet streaming platform of your choosing, be it iHeart, Spotify, whatever. We're there. News, music, information. If they stream it, we do it. And you can find us at Supertalk 99.7 WTN. And then there's our application, our app, if you will. Download that and take us wherever you go. Good things happening over there, WTN. And, of course, there's Supertalk TV. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. For whatever reason, masochists upstairs decide, well, I guess technically it's masochists downstairs decided that it would be a good idea to put this ugly face on television. Although I smell better today, I'm very excited. I told you about this yesterday. I'm very excited. More on that in a moment after Bell K tells us Headless Bell does not participate on the television side of things, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. You won't see him over there, but he does entitle them. And episode 585 is entitled
Matt Murphy issuing executive orders against cursing on air. Will they work? Libertarian Lunch.
Hell yeah!
Because we need you to issue executive orders against cursing because it's been a problem up until now.
That's right. That's right. And we're going to tackle the problem. We're going to figure out
and get it done.
Who created the problem, and we're going to get it taken care of. Absolutely. I love what you did there. I'm very excited because I'm using a new using a new beard balm. Did I mention that to you yesterday?
You did.
I think I did.
You tried to impose your beard on me and make me sniff it.
I asked you to sniff my beard. You refused to. And so I cut a lot of it off. Have you noticed that I cut some of my beard off?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it looks tidy now.
Thank you. I feel like it was, is it unkempt or unkept? Yes. Is it unkempt?
I think it's either or. Is
it either or either?
It depends on if you're English or not.
It was looking a little wild and woolly, so I took care of that. I never said that I wouldn't cut my beard. I did say that I would not cut nor trim, apparently, my hair. A lot of response to that, too. We
resolved that issue so that a trim is a cut?
Look, there's only so many hills that I can die on, and this is not one of them. The overwhelming majority of the audience felt, as you did, that a trim was a cut.
Yeah, they're right.
That's fine. I mean, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I mean, can I do dead ends? That is. What do you mean? No.
We've already had this argument. Why are you trying to find an out? Just do what you said you were going to do.
No. Just so am I allowed to wash my hair, Bell?
Yes, that has nothing to do with cutting.
I would offer that eliminating dead ends, which prevent hair growth. They retard hair growth. By cutting dead ends, I am better fulfilling the promise by promoting hair growth.
No.
I'm not trying to loophole around it. You're a purist on this.
I am.
Like a damn libertarian.
You
talking to another libertarian. You're no libertarian.
You're not a real libertarian.
I'm telling you that if a qualified, here's what I'll compromise with me, Bell. Let's play politics, okay?
No, I'm not going to compromise with you because you made a promise to the audience.
Just hear me out. I'm suggesting that by doing this, I'm fulfilling. If I can find a hair specialist, a qualified hair specialist that you approve of, that's willing to come on air and explain to you how eliminating dead ends promotes hair growth, will you accept that?
No, because you didn't promise to grow your hair. You promised not to cut it.
Hold on. Hold on. It's a big moment for you. It's a big. You should enjoy this. You didn't know this was coming for you today, but it's a big moment for you. You've talked Matt Murphy into a corner that he's trying to figure out his way out of. I did. I would argue that falls under the. All right, I got it. I got it. To me, like
there's my out.
I figured something out. I would argue that elimination of split ends falls under the category of basic hair maintenance. It is not a haircut.
Well, you tried to argue that a trim was not a cut yesterday, and you lost that
yesterday's yesterday. Let's keep looking forward, Bell. Let's not look backwards. Don't look behind you. Somebody might be gaining on you. Let's look forward.
Okay.
We're not talking about yesterday. I've conceded yesterday. Nobody's getting a trim anymore. I just want to maintain good quality hair health is all I'm asking for. I mean, if I found a tick in my hair and the only way to get that tick out was to snip the tick out with a pair of scissors, you would say no?
Yes.
You know, you're like, you know what? You sound like a liberal right now. You do. You sound like Joe Biden.
I sound like I'm holding my host's feet to the fire in defense of his audience. Mm-hmm. Because his audience was promised that you would not cut your hair, and I think the audience deserved to have the promise kept.
You know, the next time we have the meeting and the muckety-muck bosses ask me why Bell K is not on television like me, remind me of that. Remind me of that. Hold their feet to the fire. I just want to remind me of that. Hold your ground. Okay. All right. I got it.
Okay.
All right. Very good. 15 minutes after the hour, just getting underway on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I've thought about doing something over the summer, like launching it, and I'm sincere, and I want audience reaction. I have not run this by you, Bell, but I'm thinking about doing, we do libertarian lunch from noon until 1. Is what we designate libertarian lunch. But we're on from noon until 3 every day, and I'm a small L libertarian, so I guess all 3 hours could be in some way more broadly considered to be a libertarian lunchtime hour or hours. But I'm thinking about in the months of maybe mid-June to mid-August, a couple of months, doing an hour-long liberal lunch, where I try to convince, like on Wednesdays, a liberal, be they a politician, be they a listener, to come in and sit with me and allow me to talk with them about their life and their viewpoints and their ideology. And we'll call it liberal, like Wednesday liberal lunch on the Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Just kind of a test case. And I'm wondering how people would react to that. I think it's important. And here's my serious commentary on it. I mean, it'll be a lot of fun, and we'll get into yelling matches and all that, and it will be a hoot. I'm not having these folks on to argue with them, though. I'm having them on to present them to you. Think of it, we won't say this. If this actually happens and we have these liberals on, we're not going to say it this way. But now that we're just talking about it, think of it like we're all going to the zoo. Think of it that way.
Well, in concept, I think it's a great idea, because if you're not truly educated on your opponent's viewpoints, you can't really make a claim that you understand why you believe what you believe.
So I think we have too much. I won't say too much, but there is a generous amount in modern America of us talking to ourselves and having some sort of misunderstanding about where the other folks are coming from. I'm not saying that there aren't evil people in the world. There certainly are evil people in the world. We talked about one of them yesterday in Anthony Fauci. I'm not even suggesting that their viewpoint is not skewed and ridiculous and nonsensical. In a lot of ways, absolutely they are. But I would like to help all of us understand. I think it's an important exercise in understanding just where in the hell these people are coming from. Because here's the deal, folks. Whether you like it or not, whether I like it or not, they have a lot of people that are bought into their way of thinking. And not all of them are dumb. And if you believe that all of them are dumb, I think we're mistaken, and I think we have a blind spot. I think you're underestimating them. There are a lot of smart liberals that, yes, I will question their motivation, and I don't believe that they have the honesty that God gave them. I don't think they have an honest bone in many of their bodies. If they are smart enough to know what they're doing, they're smart enough to know how to lie to you. And my purpose would be to have a little fun. This is not a go after them, bulldog them segment. But just have a little fun and invite them on for 30 minutes to try to figure out where the hell these folks are, whether it's local politicians or state politicians or national politicians or just people.
Pundits.
Yeah, just liberals.
I think that on its face, the idea sounds phenomenal. That's the kind of thing I enjoy, not only engaging in, but watching and consuming, because it does help me feel like I've got my positions down pat. But that also has disaster written all over it at some point, because eventually you get an overly emotional liberal who is just going to lose their crap because they can't discuss it from an intellectual standpoint.
Well, and what we would have to establish are some of the ground rules involved in doing this, where it is not a goal of mine, because I have a tendency of doing this, and I recognize it, that if someone disagrees with me and I am passionate about an issue, I understand that I have a goal. I have a propensity to get very emotional and animated. And most of it is my desire to help these folks, guide them along their way to the correct path. I mean, I don't want you to be wrong. If you disagree with me, I'm obviously right, and I want you to be right.
Yeah, if you didn't believe in your position as being right, you wouldn't hold the position.
It's the best insult compliment that I've ever had. One time years ago, I wish I had it on tape. I had a listener call me and say, "Do you know what your problem is, Murphy?" "What's that?" "You always think you're right."
Yes.
Thank you. Why would I passionately argue something that I think is wrong?
I completely agree with you, but I'm going to argue anyway.
So yeah, I want to throw it out to the listening audience. I want to see what the listening audience thinks of this. Yes, Heidi Campbell would be invited. A lot of people are asking. Absolutely, it would be a great way to get Heidi back on the show. But what I would say is I would set up ground rules so that everybody knows what to expect. I'm not here to argue with these folks. I'm here to learn more about them, and I'm here to offer you an opportunity to learn more about them as well. Because here's the deal. I think we're getting to a place, and y'all can disagree with me if you want, and you're welcome to call in with your disagreement. But I think we're getting to a place where we're not identifying and learning enough about these people. To dismiss them is to believe that they don't really exist. And to believe they don't really exist, you're going to be sorely mistaken come November. If you think, look, we all agree that Donald Trump is right. I can't understand, and this is kind of where this comes from. I can't understand what people can't understand about what happened yesterday with the executive order and Joe Biden.
I'll take it one step further. I think if you don't have those conversations, eventually you get to the point where you don't understand why you believe what you believe, and you just simply start to repeat things that sound comfortable to you.
And here's the deal. We better begin engaging in the arena of ideas, and to dismiss these individuals and to pretend they don't exist is not accomplishing the goal that we say we want to accomplish. Do we not want more votes for Donald Trump? I want a Donald Trump landslide in November, not because I fall at the feet of Donald Trump, but because I believe in the United States of America, and I believe in our need to get ourselves back on track. You do that by attracting flies to the cause. You attract flies with honey, not with vinegar. If we scream and yell at Libby's, I mean, I'm not talking about dying. Well, we'll have some of those on too. I'm talking about mushy, middle of the road, moderate to liberal people. I think if we engage with them in the arena of ideas, we win and we learn, and all of us collectively can walk away, and it's almost like an instructional. What I would like to do, and I know this is crazy coming from me, is offer some instructional opportunity for the listening audience to be able to better engage with liberals in a way that might get them over to the conservative cause or the libertarian cause. Because not talking to them is radicalizing them, I think. I mean, look at them.
It's certainly contributing to it.
I would argue that. So it's just a thought I had. You wanted your thoughts. We're one big happy family on the Murphy Show. So throw those thoughts in there on the membersnutrition.com super text line 615-737-9986. So Hunter Biden was strung out apparently for a number of years. We've well established that in the Hunter Biden trial. I'll give you the latest on Covenant today. We're going to talk about Yes, indeed. We're going to talk about the executive action that accomplished exactly what it was supposed to accomplish. For those of you who say that it doesn't, I think you're reading this wrong. We'll talk about that next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Friends, when I first came to Nashville, I looked for a gun store that I could shop in, that I could train at, one that I believed in, one that I could relate to you is the best in the business. And boy, oh boy, did I find it at the Glock store. They have everything that I'm looking for in a gun store. Obviously, they've got incredible Glocks. Factory Glocks, sure. Custom-made Glocks, they've got those as well. They have other handguns. They have long guns. They have performance parts like guide rods, like laser engraving where you can customize your gun. They've got magazines. They've got triggers. They've got daily deals. They've got everything you can imagine on the retail side of things. Plus, they have their Shoot 270 rooms, which are unique. Never seen anything like this. They don't believe in lane shooting. Lindy McGill will tell you, lane shooting is good for lanes. Room shooting is good for life. Let's get trained for life with one of the qualified trainers at the Glock store. So you can go to shoot270.com for more information on training, or you can go to glockstore.com for more information on the great retail side of things. Or better yet, just go to the Glock store, Elm Hill Pike off of Elm Hill Pike, Air Lane Drive. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you to the one and only Glock store. Hey, friends, Matt Murphy here for Craft Body Scan. You know, the cancer has been a killer in so many ways, and it has affected just about every life that I'm speaking to right now in one way or another. Well, June is National Cancer Survivors Month. Oftentimes we talk about cancer as a killer, but there are many, many survivors of cancer, and our friends at Craft Body Scan are paying tribute to those many individuals who have fought bravely against cancer and those who continue their battle with an amazing offer. They want, all month long, an opportunity for you to get a couple's heart and lung scan for $99. That's an incredible value. That couple's scan would normally run you well in excess of $2,000. Right now, it's $99 for you and your spouse or your partner. Early detection can be obviously life-changing. That's why Kraft Body Scan believes in the path to better health, starting with a proactive approach with a CT scan from Kraft Body Scan. It's non-invasive. You don't have to take your clothes off, and you don't have to be referred. Call Kraft Body Scan today at 436-1000. That's 436-1000. And find out more. Or go to craftbodyscan.com. Tell them I sent you to prioritize your health with Kraft Body Scan. Matt Murphy sent you. craftbodyscan.com. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. A lot of reaction. John says maybe 3 to 5 minutes at most. At best, you can only plant the seeds. If they germinate, it takes a long time to produce change, not 30 minutes. Okay, I hear you. John says, John's a loyal, we call him a P1, baby.
Somewhere, though.
You got to start somewhere. Sure, okay. We start with the 5 minutes and see what happens. Says, I don't know that I could stand hearing a liberal for 30 minutes, especially when you can't just hang up on them. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not a matter of just letting them talk. I'm going to ask questions.
Don't you get chastised for doing that very thing?
Yeah.
You hung up on him.
I get chastised.
Stop yelling at him.
I get chastised for everything. If you don't yell, you softballed him. If you do yell,
you let him walk all over you.
Stop yelling it. There's always something. That's okay. That's all right. It's what I signed up for. Both parties are entrenched in their beliefs. The conservative views are mostly based on common sense. You can't teach common sense, and you can't fix stupid. 8265, you're right. My grandpa, my beloved grandfather, who Bell just saw a picture of for the first time today, didn't look like you thought he would. No, but see,
not remotely.
That is 82-year-old Pa. 82-year-old Pa and 55-year-old Pa, very different human beings. 55-year-old Pa, I lived in perpetual fear of. The man you saw had a perpetual smile on his face. I don't know what happened to his anger. It's like we get a certain amount of anger in our lives, and my grandfather got all of his out by the age of 65, and then he just kind of completely shifted.
Well, there's probably also a certain amount of psychological weight that comes with having to raise 3 children that you never expected to have to take on.
That's the truth.
And then once the 3 of you were out of the house, he was probably like,
yeah. Yeah, I see that. But anyway, my Pa said, and I need to start writing some of these things that he used to say down. Crap. There was the guy that did bleep my dad says, which was always funny to me. And I always wanted to do crap my grandpa says. But he said that they ought to call my grandpa said they ought to call common sense uncommon sense because I don't see a hell of a lot of it walking around anymore. And that's true. So I would agree with that. 3626 says, first-time texter here. I've been listening to you, Matt, since day one. I think your idea is brilliant. Well, that's very sweet of you. Thank you so much. Also, I don't think you're a first-time texter, 3626. You actually, I'm not trying to make enemies out of friends here, but you texted on November 17th, 2022 at 7:41 in the morning. Trump!
Maybe they mean to your show.
Oh, maybe so. I'm just messing with him more than anything. That's what I do. How about a healed liberal? You'd think you'd be able to tell liberal to go put gas in your car and then go buy groceries and see how high it is and tell them that you want it lowered. And if you want that, you need to vote for Trump. It should be enough. I would agree with you, but it's not, man. It's not. These people have bought into it, and I think we need to hear it for ourselves to understand the hills we need to climb and what we need to do to turn this country around fully. This should be a no-brainer this November. This man in the White House is an absolute disaster, an unmitigated disaster. 2:33, Super Talk 99.7 WTN, just getting underway, Libertarian Lunchtime Hour on this Wednesday. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I was in part inspired, this concept of having a liberal lunch for Wednesdays during the summer, where we invite a liberal on to spend a few minutes with us to talk about themselves and their lives. I mean, this doesn't have to be a liberal politician. I seriously doubt we'll get very many of those agreeing to come on. Even though I will, formulate the rules of engagement and the terms and conditions and tell them that this is not a debate format, that I'm just here to talk about them and their priorities and what they think about life and the world. I know how liberals operate. Liberals don't go into arenas of ideas that disagree with them. They just don't. But I think we can convince enough that it might be a good idea. I don't know. I'm taking the pulse of the room, but I was in part inspired by a clip I played yesterday from Lady MAGA USA, who is a Trump-supporting drag queen, a gay man who's a drag queen, who goes around the country interviewing other liberals, or interviewing liberals. He's not a liberal. And demonstrating the ignorance of the general population. I'll play that clip for you again. We broke it down yesterday late in the show. I'll play it for those of you listening on the Libertarian Lunchtime side that aren't able to listen to the entire show. Stand by for that. Brent is next in Spring Hill. Hey, Brent.
Hey, my good friend, very good friend, is a liberal art school teacher. And, he's liberal. And I, push back against him. But it's kind of crazy that he doesn't see that this is lawfare. He doesn't see, Democrats pushing on us being a banana republic. I don't know. But we talk, and he doesn't get it. It's really weird. He's a smart guy, but is what it is.
I have I've told the story in the past, Brent, about losing one of my better friends in life, a good friend from college. I lost my best friend to alcoholism when he was in his 30s. What I would consider my next best friend, or my other best friend that came out of college, eventually became a college professor, and he now works for Emory University. And we allowed for political conversation. We enjoyed political conversation. I knew that he was a dyed-in-the-wool liberal. He knew that I was a libertarian/conservative. He sees those two things as the same thing, despite the fact that they're not. And we had many good and robust conversation, and Trump changed that. And it took me a long time to understand that I didn't change. They did. And I'm trying to bring a little bit of that back. I haven't changed. I'm willing to accept that there are other people that think differently than I do in the United States of America. I'm willing to accept that the United States of America is a big enough country, and we believe in freedom enough that you have every right in the world to be wrong and vote in the wrong way, as much as I will try to convince you that you are wrong. That's what freedom is all about. That's what freedom of speech is all about, freedom of movement, association. But when everything was fine, we would make visits. We would go over to Atlanta. We would see he and his wife. We would dabble in politics. When it got a little too much, everybody would go, it's getting a little too much, because Caleb and I would argue with one another. We would debate one another. And then eventually we would let it go, and we'd go play video games or we'd do whatever. And then Trump came along. And everything was fine. Everything was fine with my liberal friend and myself until Trump won. And when Trump won, I got shut off. And it hurt me. I'll be honest. It bothered me in as much as I had forgiven his political viewpoints. He had forgiven mine. And then suddenly, Trump comes along and our friendship doesn't matter anymore. And that's a small person. And I thought better of him than that. And when I mean cut off, I mean Trump won, and a week or so later, I texted him, and I got no response, and I tried to text him 4 or 5 times over the next several months and got nothing. This is one of my best friends in the world. And you know when I heard back from him? I'm not making this up. I know it sounds made up. I'm not. I tried repeatedly to communicate with him. I heard back from him 2 weeks after Joe Biden won in 2020. And I'm like, screw that, man. I'm not going to operate on your terms. That's not the way that any of this works. And it caused me to reflect on what the hell is going on and how many people across America are experiencing the same thing. And I came to the conclusion that I have not changed one bit. They have. My core convictions have not changed. My belief system has not changed. My belief in the ability for people to disagree and have good, productive, or even non-productive debate or conversation about these things has not changed. They changed. They got psychologically damaged over what happened in 2016. And that psychological damage is manifesting itself even to this moment, to this day, in the form of convicted fellow Donald Trump, to the point that the mainstream media outlets today are defending this garbage executive order nonsense without connecting the appropriate dots to tell the American people, or at least honestly remind the American people, that all of this was being handled under the Trump administration, and Joe Biden dismantled it, created this problem that he's now claiming to solve that he won't solve. I'll give you more on that in a second. Mary's in East Nashville. Hello, Mary. Glad you called.
Hi, Matt. Longtime listener. Okay, so I was raised as a liberal around the D.C. area. And my family, all my family members are still liberals. And my husband's a Republican, and he's chapped that it took Uncle Phil to change my mind and make me understand what's really happening. But the reason I'm calling is to tell you that I understand the psychology behind liberals, and it's just like what you just said about how they blame it on Trump. The minute Trump took office, he was the one who was dividing everybody, and they still believe that. And the problem is they have good intentions, and many of them, like you said before, are very educated people, but they hate Trump so much that they cannot open their eyes to see what is actually going on.
Do you think, I do agree with you that there's a portion of the political left that we've lost. But I think it's important for us, even, and maybe I'm wrong, but even if we've lost them to what I think is a mind disease, I think it's important for us to understand them, to study them, to make sure that we fully understand what has happened here so as to try our best to prevent it from continuing in American youth.
I totally agree with you. And the problem is that they don't think that there's anything wrong. Like, they truly believe that the world is good, that the economy is good, that everything is going along so well. And so it's almost impossible, not to mention the fact that my sister and all the people that I know that believe this, if you try and bring up any kind of logical explanation as to what is happening, they either will hang up on you, just like you said, cut you off, or just absolutely just turn their ears off. It's maddening.
Well, and they're good at that. And part of my rationale for trying to help educate the audience or just to present something, and obviously all of this is cloaked in the form of entertainment. I think it would be a hoot to have some of these folks on, honestly. But, part of it is to not become them. I think I'm not asking anybody to eat into their core convictions. I'm not asking anyone to compromise on their position on any issue. What I am suggesting is we better listen to the way the other side thinks so that we can sharpen our own ideas, sharpen our own positions, and make sure that we're ready to engage in intellectual battle when the time comes.
I agree with you totally. And all you can do is keep trying, but I run up against this wall day in and day out, and it's so disheartening because the belief, the mindset in your average liberal is they're absolutely, completely convinced that they're right. There is no other way of looking at it, and that's pretty difficult to battle.
Well, and I'm trying to get to a broader question, and thank you so much, Mary, for the call, and thank you for the engagement. I'm glad that you made us a priority in your life during the Libertarian Lunch. We thank you for that. Any calls coming in, 615-737-9986. We'll get to you. You can also get in on the membersnutrition.com super text line. You know, I think now's the time to do this. We're going to get down to individual cases. We're going to get down to individual ideological positions. We're going to talk about the battle that is the political arena for the next several months. I mean, it's on, man. It is June 5th. I don't know if anybody noticed, but it's the 5th day of June, right? When is Election Day, Bell?
July 5th?
It's November 5th. November 5th. It's the 5th. So we are officially, June to July, July to August, August to September, September to October, 5 months away, baby. We are on like Donkey Kong. We're on like Donkey Kong. So now's the time to get into it. Figure out, get down to where the goats can graze on it. Figure out what's going on. And it is time to engage those in the mushy middle. It's time to engage those who are left of center. And yeah, even engage those wildly crazy liberals. Because Mary points something out that I've thought about quite a bit over the last. I don't know what liberals believe in anymore. I mean, I honestly don't. I mean, okay, I could come up with some phrases. Like workers' rights, right? They believe in work. I mean, what do liberals believe in? What are some core principled beliefs that liberals have outside of their belief in government and the sacrosanct nature, the sacred cow nature of government itself? What do they believe in? What would they say they believe in? I know what I believe in. Freedom, 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 freedom. Liberty. Ability to chart a direction of your own choosing. Personal responsibility. That's where I start. That's where I finish. 1251 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, some of you are putting it off. I'm talking to Dr. Wendy. I'm talking to Dr. V, Dr. Dominic down there at the Dr. Gill Center for Back, Neck, and Chronic Pain Relief, and they're telling me that some folks are, summertime happens, and they're putting off some of their visits, their appointments, and maybe you're putting it off, and you feel like you can overcome the pain that you're experiencing in your body, popping some pills, maybe even taking shots to dull the pain. Friends, let's not wait any longer. Let's get to the Dr. Gill Center together. I know I'm a patient, and I want you to be as well. The Dr. Gill Center for Back, Neck, and Chronic Pain Relief in Franklin is available for you. A short drive, worth the drive from anywhere within the sound of my voice. Folks, do this for yourself and do it for your family. Let me just talk to those of you that are experiencing pain, wherever it might originate or emanate. For a low cost of less than $50, they're going to bring you in. Your first appointment is less than $50. With that appointment, they're going to examine you. Dr. Wendy, Dr. Dominic, Dr. V, one of the qualified chiropractic care physicians are going to take care of you. They're going to x-ray you. They're going to see the results of those x-rays. They're going to go through that, and you'll get your first appointment involved in that as well, and your first, whether it's an adjustment or maybe spinal decompression, whatever you need, whatever the diagnosis is that you agree on, they're going to go with that. The Dr. Gill Center for Back, Neck, and Chronic Pain Relief. They want to see you this summer. Give them a call at 615-882-4838, 882-4838, and please tell them that Matt Murphy sent you to the Dr. Gill Center for Back, Neck, and Chronic Pain Relief. Hey, for those who have never seen a photograph of Bel K, I know he doesn't like to be photographed. They are very rare, but I secured one recently at a place of relaxation of Bel K's, and I've now posted that up on the X machine. Just go over to the X machine, look up at Matt Murphy Show, MattMurphyShow. Follow me, please. Trying to get to 15,000. I'm doing my best. Trying as best I can. Let folks know about us over there. Help a brother out. And you can also see a lovely photo of Bel K having some sort of lunch or dinner. That's a fancy eating tray you got there, Bel. I like that. 615-737-9986. We'll break down the efficacy of this ridiculous executive order coming up in a moment, plus the latest on Covenant and the Covenant School shooting as related by Brian Wilson, our own Brian Wilson of Super Talk, and the Tennessee Star's Michael Leahy. Next.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Prosecutors in the gun trial of Hunter Biden in Delaware are focusing on his past relationships, including testimony by his ex-wife. He's accused of lying on a federal form about his drug use when buying a firearm in 2018. ABC's Terry Moran is outside the courthouse.
Kathleen Buell took the witness stand, and in a quiet, still, somber voice, she talked about the day in 2015 she found a crack pipe in her home. That's what she assumed it was. She confronted Hunter Biden about it. She testified. He acknowledged that he was smoking crack, and that was the point at which he left. He moved out. They entered therapy, and she asked him to go to rehab at that time. He wouldn't. Ultimately, the marriage ended in divorce.
President Biden in France ahead of tomorrow's D-Day commemorations, marking 80 years when Allied forces stormed the beaches of Normandy to liberate Europe from the Nazis. ABC's Tom Sufi Burridge says the president will honor those who sacrificed and also about the challenges facing the world.
One, we're told, will be the importance of alliances and allies. The president will emphasize that America throughout the ages has always worked with its partners, like key players in Europe, like the French, like the UK. We're seeing it in Ukraine today. We're seeing the US try to work with allies to pressure Israel and Hamas to get that deal in Gaza right now.
New York's governor putting the brakes on Manhattan's congestion pricing.
Citing the risk of unintended consequences for New Yorkers, Governor Kathy Hochul says she's postponing the city's congestion pricing plan, charging drivers a toll south of 60th Street in Manhattan starting June 30th.
Circumstances have changed, and we must respond to the facts on the ground, not from the rhetoric from 5 years ago.
Hochul says that the plan was hatched in a pre-pandemic period. ABC's Derek Dennis. You're listening to ABC News.
Hey, folks, it's Matt Murphy, and I want to tell you for a moment about U.S. Pest and what they can bring to your home to include protection of your home, your family, and obviously your yard with U.S. Pest Protection. They bring it with U.S. Pest. They offer you a free inspection. They want a little bit more about you, a little bit of information about what your issue might be, whether it's termite related. If you're concerned about termites, you ought to be, because termites can absolutely destroy a home. Let's talk about that. Maybe it's roaches. Maybe it's spiders. Maybe it's stink bugs. Whatever it might be, if you have some sort of invasive species coming down on your home and your property, it's time to get it handled. Now, obviously, they've been the Cicada Central on social media at U.S. Pest. JK and Erica have delighted us with useful information about cicadas and not so useful information about cicadas. One way or the other, they've been there for us as a resource for a long time now. U.S. Pest is the one-stop shop for all things pest protection in Nashville and the surrounding community, and they're great Americans besides. I want you to go to uspest.com today to find out more. That's uspest.com today for a free inspection. You can sign up right there on the website or give them a call today at 590-1260, 590-1260. When you call, tell them Matt Murphy sent you to U.S. Pest. Welcome back, friends. Matt Murphy and the Matt Murphy Show. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Love it, love it, love it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being around. Whatever time you're able to give us, we're certainly appreciative of it. Just completing the libertarian lunchtime hour, and we have 2 more full hours to go. Hunter Biden's trial continues in Delaware. We're monitoring it. We have well-established, friends, that Hunter Biden was an absolute drug addict. And if there was any mistaking that, and this is not the fault. Well, that's right. This is not the fault of the prosecution, okay? It's not like they're trying to drag Hunter Biden through the mud. His defense. Have you heard what his defense is? Bell, have you heard what his defense is?
I was high.
No, that's not his defense. His defense is that in order for him to have violated the question asked on the gun form, he had to be high at the time that he said that he wasn't. I think that's the nature of the defense. And they're saying that, hey, look, we know that he had a drug problem, but he didn't have a drug problem specific to his purchase of the gun.
Doesn't the question ask if you are an addict?
Yes.
Not if you're high, but if you're an addict.
It doesn't
and those
ask
are 2 different things.
That's exactly right. It asks you if you're currently addicted to drugs. So even
if he wasn't high at that given moment, he could still have been addicted to drugs.
Yeah, and he was. And it's well established. So what the defense is doing by telegraphing what their defense is going to be, that they're pushing the prosecution into going into the more salacious details of Hunter Biden's drug issues. They've introduced the laptop computer as evidence. By the way, all of you 51, I promised myself I was going to be a joyful warrior today. I wasn't going to allow myself to get upset about this. But I expect certain standards in American society, particularly for those who regularly regurgitate their nonsense on platforms like #NeverCNN. Has any one of the 51... I almost said a curse word. I'm going to say it better. Speaking of Hunter Biden's laptop, they've introduced it into evidence. We know it's true. We knew it was true then. They spiked that story. They lied. They lied in advance of the election. They knew that laptop was real. The FBI knew that laptop was real, and the FBI withheld that information. 51 so-called esteemed members of the intelligence community signed a letter prior to Donald Trump's debate with Joe Biden, and they lied. They are liars. They are just disgusting. What SOBs these people are. I know that I shouldn't allow... if you wonder what gets under my skin more than anything, it's people that lie to you. Or that treat you like you're dumb. But I repeat myself, because most liars think you are. I hate it. I hate it with every fiber of my being. I'm not suggesting that if she asks you if she looks good in that dress. I mean, there are times, I'm not being a Pollyanna here. If she asks you, gentlemen, if she looks good in that dress and you know she likes that dress, you know what your answer is? Always, always yes. Always yes. That's the silly stuff. 51 of these so-called esteemed intelligence members or members of the intelligence community lied to the American people, specifically to affect the outcome of an election. And has one of them apologized? Have any of them apologized to us about the Hunter Biden laptop? No, one of them? James Clapper should be in jail. John Brennan should be in jail based on their lies and how they leaked information from the intelligence community and how they went after Donald Trump in a political way. And if anything comes out of this trial, that did. But they've presented the laptop as evidence in the trial. They have presented just a mountain of evidence that Hunter Biden was racked out on crack cocaine and other things. Here's the wonderful thing. Do y'all think that Hunter's clean? I mean, I hope he is. I hope the best, even for the worst. I hope the best, even for the worst. But while liberals will suggest to you across America on our major media networks that the prosecution is just raking Hunter Biden over the coals for no good reason, no, the defense forced this prosecution in this way because they are saying that Hunter Biden was out of his mind on, or was not out of his mind on drugs when he bought that gun. And he most certainly was out of his mind on drugs when he bought that gun. And it doesn't matter what he did with it afterwards. It matters that he lied on a federal form. And do we have a two-tier system of justice or not? We'll see. Part of me hopes he gets off. I just want everyone to see in plain sight. Trump case, Biden case, juxtapose, have fun with it all summer long. In the meantime, there's a Wall Street Journal report out, and I'm certain that you've heard about it. I know Dan Mandis was talking about it on Nashville's Morning News. That report indicating that Joe Biden's mental fitness leaves a little bit to be desired, and it has sparked a lot of pushback from the White House. You know, speaking of my grandfather in the Libertarian Lunchtime Hour, I'll speak of him again this hour. He always had a saying, hit dog barks. Y'all know what that means? Hit dog barks. You throw a rock into a pack of dogs, which one's going to bark? The one that got hit. Wall Street Journal just farted in a car, and Joe Biden's a little upset about it. The White House is a little bit upset about it. They're getting a bit defensive. They're slamming the Wall Street Journal and these Republicans for making, quote, false claims about Joe Biden's mental fitness. Here's an easy way for you to demonstrate Joe Biden's mental fitness, guys. Well, just present him before the American people in a way where you can sit down with him and talk to him. Just go read the transcript of his conversation with Time Magazine. He recently had a sit down with Time Magazine. Go read some of that and tell me that this guy has his full faculties. Release the transcript, not the transcript, pardon me, release the audio recording of the interview that Joe Biden engaged in 5 hours over 2 days because he couldn't do 5 hours in one. Release the audio of his conversation with Robert Hur about the classified information that he got away with, storing at his house, in his garage, in his office in Washington, D.C., had classified documents in multiple locations all across the damn country. Nobody does anything about it because he's a doddering old man that wouldn't know his butt, couldn't find it with a flashlight, a compass, and both hands. The Wall Street saying, look, we did our due diligence. We talked to, I think, 45 different people. Is that right? Let me just look at the article there. I don't want to get it wrong. I don't want to be accused of lying, doing that which I hate. Although, When President Biden met with congressional leaders in the West Wing in January to negotiate a Ukraine funding deal, he spoke so softly at times that some participants struggled to hear him. According to 5 people familiar with the meeting, he read from notes to make obvious points, paused for extended periods of time, and sometimes closed his eyes for so long that some people in the room wonder whether or not he had fallen asleep. The Wall Street Journal talked with almost 50 people about the 81-year-old president in an attempt to get an assessment of his cognitive fitness for office, and it did not turn out well. Now, obviously, Democrats are going to lie about his mental abilities and mental capabilities. The Wall Street Journal, in an effort to be as honest as they possibly can be, or not honest, let's see, there's a better way of putting that. The Wall Street Journal, in an effort to demonstrate, to bend over backwards to demonstrate their fairness, they write this. For much of his career, Biden enjoyed a reputation on Capitol Hill for being a master negotiator of legislative deals, known for his detailed knowledge of issues and insights into the other side's motivation and needs, and for hitting his stride when the pressure was on. Over the past year, though, with Republicans in control of the House, that reputation has diminished. White House officials dismissed many of the accounts from those who have met with the president or been briefed on those meetings as motivated by partisan politics. This article is based on interviews with more than 45 people over several months. I've never understood that, by the way. As an aside, when you use such a specific number like 45, why would you say more than 45? Why wouldn't you just say 46? If you're going to be, you know what I mean? I mean, it doesn't matter, but it's just always been a pet peeve of mine. The Matt Murphy Show has spoken with over 187 people. Well, okay, then does that mean it's 188 or is it 200? What are you doing? Anyway, it's 45 or 46 or 50. I don't know how many. It's more than 45, I guess, so it's 46 plus. The interviews were with Republicans and Democrats who either participated in meetings with Biden or were briefed on them contemporaneously, including administration officials and other Democrats who found no fault in the president's handling of the meetings. Of course they didn't. The White House, so here's how you know you're hitting a little too close to home. They knew the Wall Street Journal was looking into this. And the Wall Street Journal actually says in their article, the White House kept close tabs on some of the Wall Street Journal's interviews with Democrat lawmakers. After the offices of several Democrats shared with the White House either a recording of the interview or details about it was asked, some of those lawmakers spoke to the Journal a second time and once again emphasized Biden's strength. One Democrat, Representative Gregory Meeks, referring to the White House, said, quote, they just, said that I should give you a call back. In other words, the White House got wind that the Wall Street Journal was doing a story on the president's cognitive fitness, and they started running around to the Democrats that the Wall Street Journal had spoken to and begged of them to call them back and tell them that the president's A-okay, everything's fine here. Well, we all know that everything's not fine here. We all know that there's a problem with his mental fitness. Would you trust, and I'm being dead serious here, would you trust Joe Biden to drive your kids to the store? Would you trust Joe Biden to take your kids on an outing? Let's say your kids want to go to a show and you can't take them. Would you trust Joe Biden to drive your kids to a concert or to the store? But you'll trust him with the country? Your children. I'm talking to you liberals. Would you trust Joe Biden to babysit your kids for a weekend? But you'll trust him with the country? Huh. Come on, man. Steve wants to talk about liberalism. He's been holding for a minute. Steve, thank you for your patience. How are you?
I'm not too bad. And yourself?
I'm well.
All right?
I'm well. Thank you.
Say, I'm a first-time caller.
I'm
We
glad
moved
you're
down
here,
here
Steve.
about 4 years ago.
You know what? Steve, you know what first-time callers get?
What?
A bottle of water and an ink pen used by me. How about that?
I tell you,
That's good.
That's great.
That's good. Just pick it up at the radio station.
Well, I'm much, much older, and we live in Murfreesboro, so I've had over 3/4 of a century to witness what's going on in the United States. But just a little bit of information. Number one, I used to be part of a radio station 12 years or so ago in South Missouri that was quite conservative, and I was a member of the Tea Party down there and so on. But in 2-3 points, we saw Joe Biden. My wife is a teacher. We saw Biden speak in 2018 in Benton Harbor, St. Joe at Lake Michigan College, and the whole thing was scary. It was so rehearsed. The question and answer thing obviously were a bunch of plants, not people from Michigan and so on. But what really killed us was the little thing before the speech started or his lecture started was they had food and so on these round banquet tables, and each banquet table had a little flyer that said, what is Joe's favorite color? How many books has Joe written? What does Joe take with him all the time for good luck? And I thought, what is this? Somebody running for student council president or what? And then all these college kids that were involved in organizing this thing all had on T-shirts that said, "We vote." And you just thought how badly this country had gotten brainwashed. And I'll wind it up basically with this. One of the most important classes, as I look back when I was in school many, many years ago, was called Applied Behavior Analysis. And the professor that I had spent at least 6 weeks on the topic of brainwashing, the principles thereof, and so on. So whether you're brainwashed by boot camp in the U.S. Army or the Manchurian Candidate movies or anything else, as we take a look at what this country is all about today, I have to take a look at college students protesting, people in grocery stores with 45s in their waistbands and so on and so forth, and the whole demise of this country. And I believe that if we take a look at the points that were made 60 years ago of some folks that wanted to take this country over and things that they wanted to establish, or to take over Hollywood, take over the media, take over public schools, to deflect religion and family. And to me, the biggest brainwash job today is done primarily by public schools and by ABC, CBS, NBC, and the likes of all of that. And that's very, very scary. My kids are much older now, but when my kids were in school in the 90s, the message they heard at home from my wife and I for maybe 4 hours a day before they went to school and after they got home and after we ate dinner, that was all negated by the 7-hour message they heard at school. Very, very much so. And so this is a shame that this country has been brainwashed into thinking all of these principles whatsoever. I have a bumper sticker that says, never underestimate the power of stupid people in large groups. And it's really true. It just is. Well, it honestly is. And before I get off, I'll tell you one more little quick.
Yes, very quick. Very quick. Got to go. Good. So very quick. 30 seconds. Take it.
My son is the head of advertising at the oldest radio TV station in Kansas City. And I noticed one time, I said, your newscasts aren't half as sophisticated as newscasts in Springfield, Missouri, which is about 1/5 the size of Kansas City. Mm-hmm. And he said, Dad, you have to take a look at the population here. We design these newscasts for the population that they can understand what we are saying. We couldn't say this in Kansas City. They wouldn't understand it. They wouldn't even catch on to it. Isn't that scary?
It is scary. And it's a great call, Steve. Thank you for making it. I held on as long as I could so that you could make that final point, and it is a fabulous one. Good call. 615-737-9986. It's 124 on Super Talk. You know, some issues in your body, they're pretty obvious. When you get a cold, you know it. When you get the flu, you know it. The signs of cancer and cardiovascular disease are not always obvious. What isn't obvious makes treatment and survival a lot more challenging and complex. That is why there is Kraft Body Scan for you. It is an amazing company that offers quick, non-invasive heart and lung scans that detect hidden health threats before symptoms appear. Friends, this is Matt Murphy, and I've been scanned. I've had a full body scan, and I encourage you to do the same. It gave me such peace of mind and relief knowing that everything in my body is doing A-OK. June is National Cancer Survivors Month, and our friends at Kraft Body Scan are paying tribute to those many individuals who fought and have battled valiantly against cancer with a $99 heart and lung screening. $99 will get you a screening, but it'll also get a loved one, a spouse, or a partner a screening as well. This is an incredible savings. Typically, this is over $2,600 for $99. It sounds unbelievable. It is not unbelievable. Believe it. I'm telling you. Make the call today. Make the appointment today. It's non-invasive, as I mentioned. You keep your clothes on. It takes about 8 to 10 minutes after your initial consultation. CraftBodyScan.com for more information, or 615-436-1000, 436-1000 for Kraft Body Scan. Hey, congrats to the WNBA, by the way.
Are they finally break even?
No, they're not breaking even. Let's not be silly. They're being subsidized by the NBA as we speak. No, congratulations to the WNBA. You've got people talking about you that have zero business talking about you, and that has to be a publicity success. I don't care, and so I try not to talk about things that I don't care that much about. But I do find a detached amusement in listening to some of these folks that have no idea what they're talking about it. Oh, it's a black thing. Oh, it's a lesbian thing. Oh, it's a this thing. Oh, it's a that thing. I don't care. I would suggest that you take the win and move on. I mean, the fact that you have broken over the waterline, your little nose is above the waterline, and there are actually people on, I don't know, Fox News and hashtag NeverCNN and other media organizations actually discussing the rift between, what's her name, Caitlin Clark and some of these other players. They don't like the fact that a great white hope has descended itself upon the WNBA. Apparently, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not getting into it. But congrats to the frickin' WNBA, man. Y'all take the victory and move on with it. Y'all need, I know this, if you want more eyeballs on your sport, more pro wrestling. What do they call them? Heels and what are the good guys called? Hero faces? Is that right? I think that's right. I'm embarrassed to say. Bell K acting like he doesn't know. By the way, while I have a moment, don't forget, go over to @MattMurphy Show, see a photograph of Bell K. Not many of those available. I just posted it up on my Twitter feed, @MattMurphy Show. I think this is going to be a big push to get me to 15,000 followers, so you can find Bell K there. He's eating some sort of lunch or something, and no Spicy's not in the shot, nor are his two kids. Kids being his cats. 615-737-9986. More in a moment. More in a moment on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 0636. What mistake does Trump have to make for you to not vote for him? And would it take him murdering or him switching to a Dem? 0636 has been asking this question of me for the last several days. As I look back on these series of texts, I said, like yesterday, what would it take to vote for someone other than Trump? And please tell me what it would take. This is yesterday. Please tell me what it would take for you not to vote for Trump. Sorry, I'm curious. I wrote, is he running against Biden in your hypothetical? He said, no, DeSantis, primary. What would it take to vote DeSantis? And what if Trump had a D beside his name, but everything else is in his policy is the same? My response was, we've already voted in the primary. He said, this is a hypothetical. Well, so in your hypothetical, the primaries haven't happened and Donald Trump is running against Ron DeSantis. I would vote for Donald Trump based on his past performance and his policy preferences. What mistake does Trump have to make for you to not vote for him? I've asked you for 3 days. Is it that hard of a question, or do you just not want to answer? I don't understand the question. What do you mean, what mistake would he have to make? If Donald Trump killed someone, I would not vote for him for president of the United States. Is that what you want to hear? I don't know. Is he still running against Biden?
What if he killed a bad guy, though?
Yeah,
like
yeah. Okay.
007
See, I'm reassessing my answer. I want to withdraw my answer so that I can contemplate it further. So you're asking, is there anything Donald Trump could do in the history of anything, hypothetically, that would prevent me from voting for Donald Trump? And my question is he running against a statist? Is he running against a socialist? If that is the case, then I don't think there's a lot that he could do as long as he keeps the same policy positions. If his policy, like, you're asking things that don't make any sense. Like, if he was a Democrat, but his policies are the same. Well, if his policies are the same, he wouldn't be a Democrat. The Democrat Party would never nominate him. So, I would ask you, 0636, are you voting for Joe Biden? And if so, is there anything that would get you off Joe Biden? Anything that he does? Anything that he would do? Cognitive decline? What? Can I ask you the same hypothetical question and try to achieve the same hypothetical answer? I don't know the nature of the question. Why are you asking are you asking how deep my loyalty to Donald Trump goes? My loyalty goes to the United States of America, sir. My loyalty is with this country. I believe that Donald Trump is best positioned to tackle the major existential issue of our moment, and that is our southern border. That is an ideological existential issue. Secondarily, there is as great of an existential issue that exists in Washington, D.C. concerning the bureaucratic deep state and how the FBI, the NSA, the CIA, and other alphabet soup organizations in Washington, D.C. believe that they run extracurricular to the Constitution of this country, and they do not, sir. And for his efforts, those same organizations attempted to independently take him down. So I don't know what to tell you. You'll have to give me some specifics. Are you asking me if he killed a guy, would I not vote for him? My answer would be, what guy? Is he a really bad guy? Is it Vladimir Putin? If it's Putin, what if it's Putin? Putin's bad, right? Putin's evil.
Oh, he wouldn't kill Putin, though. They're in bed together.
Well, I mean, we're doing. Hey, hold on a second, Bill. We're doing hypotheticals. Hypothetically, if he decided to kill Putin, I just like saying Putin. Tony's in Nash. Hello, Tony.
Hey, how you doing today?
I'm great, Tony.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad you are. What's on your mind?
Well, what's on my mind is what fuels these people on the other side. And most of us has got this. It's an illusion, like a lady called a few callers back. And you have this same illusion. Not to say it's a bad thing, is that it shows that you have a decent heart, is that you give people the benefit of the doubt. They have the illusion that these people mean good. No, they don't. The only thing that God, that the devil means for you or exercises for you is either harm or death. Just like your friend, you had the illusion that he was your friend. Long as he had a talking point, and he thought he had one up on you, but once Trump got in the office, then you found then that illusion was busted. Now, when Biden gets back in office, now he wants to come back and talk to you. Now, here's the thing. God teaches us about this illusion. I just challenge you to go to Psalms chapter 23 and read that chapter. The first two verses does that. It says when you sit down with a table and eat with a ruler, it says diligently consider what is before you. It says put a knife at your throat if you are a man given to appetite. What is the illusion there? That you thinking that this person of power is sitting down to eat with you because they like you. They don't like you. They have an agenda. And their agenda is to fish to see what they can feed to your appetite to support their agenda. And see, long as they keep that illusion alive in our minds, then they're gonna win every single time. Like we used to teach our children. The devil can disguise himself all day long, but he can't hide. Because if you pay attention to him, he's going to show himself every single time. And when he shows himself, you got to accept him for who he is.
Well, you know what? You're identifying, Tony, what broke my heart. It broke my heart because I do believe that we can have a difference of political position without that damaging a friendship. And I thought that I had that friendship along those lines, but I found out I didn't. And right. you're hitting the nail on the head. It is the moment that I realized that the deepness of our friendship was not nearly what I thought it was, at least both ways. I thought I had it. I thought he had it. He did not have it. Otherwise, he would not have acted in the manner that he did. He, as you have said so well today, Tony, he exposed himself.
That's
for what he truly is. Sadly.
That's right.
Sadly. Well, it's well spoken. Tony, thank you for the call. I wish it made me feel better about those sets of circumstances. If you missed it, I told a story about how Trump changed things in the minds of liberals and how they changed. I did not change. Trump derangement syndrome is real, and it truly did change them. And I've spoken to so many people over the last 5, 6, 7 years that say the same thing. That we were getting along, we knew not to talk that much about politics. We'd dabble in it here or there, but when Trump came into office, they didn't anticipate that, and it changed them. Jeff asks, is he talking about Biden? He was actually relating to a story that I told a little bit earlier. Sandra writes in and says, Matt met my new neighbor at our lake house and he whispered, "Are you Trump people?" He is too, but I found it funny that he felt the need to whisper the question. And it's true. I mean, they're all over, man. They're all over. If you're Trump, say it loud and proud. If you are conservative, GOP, libertarian, whatever, say it loud and proud. Biden people won't. I can't convince a Biden person, even with a commitment to no argument. It goes back to what we were talking about first hour. I can't convince Biden people to come on and just tell me why they support their guy. The only challenge I would offer you, 615-737-9986. I welcome it. I want it. I need it in my life. All I ask you to do is not to bring up Trump. Just don't bring up Trump. And tell me why you like Joe Biden, what policies of Joe Biden's you believe in. I'm waiting. Sandra writes in and says, Matt, I heard a bit of Barney Fife in your voice. I believe you could do a good impression of nip it in the bud. You know what this needs? Butt nipping. I can do almost anybody well enough to know who I'm doing. I can't do anybody well enough to actually get away with it. I've always been pretty proud. I've always been proud of. I can't do Al Gore now. Lockbox. If I'm not trying, I can do it. Jason wants to know the woman that wrote in about her lake house. Is her lake house at Tim's Ford Lake? Ha, ha, ha. Very funny, Jay. By the way, I had a pretty good question asked of me yesterday, Belle. And yes, if you want to see a photo of Belle K, I've posted said photo up on my Twitter page, formerly known as Twitter, my X Machine handle. Find me at Matt Murphy Show, and you can see a lovely picture of Belle K, at least. As long as it stands, Belle is initiating some sort of legal action to get me to take it down. But Belle is having some lunch or dinner at his home residence, and I snapped that photo recently, and I decided to put it up against Belle K's wishes. But I had a question asked of me yesterday, and I actually think it's a pretty good one. While I was sitting there at the lake,
yeah,
at Twin Creeks Marina, at Tim's Ford Lake, calling it Tim Ford's Lake for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know I was getting it? Someone asked me this yesterday. Did you know I was getting it wrong the whole time?
Yeah.
Well, where you at, bro?
Well, sometimes you do things like that on purpose, though, for the reaction.
Oh, I wasn't doing that.
So I don't want to jump in and assume and ruin the bit, because I have ruined bits before, and you're like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I've been doing this for 25 years. I know. Do you not know? How long have you been in radio, Belle? Do you not know a bit when you hear it?
Belle's doing me now. That's true. Come on, Belle. Work with me. Ruin my bits. 0388 wants me to know that it's Tim's Ford, Matt. No. It's Tim's Ford Lake. It's Tim's Ford Lake. It's not Tim's Ford Matt. Pleasant Shade, Pleasant Grove, Pleasant Valley, whatever. 615-737-9986. Just a programming note, by the way, coming up in the 2 o'clock hour at 2:05 and every day for the rest of the week at 2:05, we are presenting Special Occasion Friday Mac Attack.
One thing that happened that made me think it might have been a bit was the fact that you were talking on air about how somebody showed up and said, I drove all the way from Tullahoma to correct you. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe he's using this as a way to get people to show up. That's actually pretty ingenious.
I think it worked. There's like 30, 40 people came out to see us. It was fun. No, they were not there. They were not there to eat. They were not there to have fun. They were there to correct me and move along. And then there was Bob, who... You got to love Bob. Bob's very angry.
Can't have you talking about things you aren't a part of.
Can't have me talking about any sort of intelligence. Not on this show. We don't talk about intelligence on this show. We leave that to Brian Wilson, Chris Hand, Dan Mandis. Not here. We're your unintelligent source for news and commentary on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And we'll continue. By the way, just to finish the thought, Friday Mac Attack for the rest of the week on at 2:05 today. And tomorrow and Friday. In advance of never having to talk to McMurray again in our lives.
He's got a comment.
Oh, you're going to turn my mic on. That's convenient. Wow.
Well,
okay, there we go. Thank you.
You're not actually working again for 10 minutes.
Gotcha.
So.
Yeah.
Is it 2:05 already? I thought we were doing this at 2:05.
I don't have anything to draft yet.
Did you? Hey, by the way, did you get your present there, Maury?
I did. I can't wait to talk about it.
You went ahead and opened that, did you?
Well, yeah, under Bell's guidance.
You told me to let him know make sure he knew it was there.
I didn't expect him to open it when I wasn't here. I said just make sure he knows it's there. I was worried about somebody thieving it at a radio station. But I was too lazy to take it back to my truck. What happened was,
exactly.
I was too lazy to take it back there. And frankly, I was a little miffed that on his last week here, he was absent, although he claims he told everybody, whatever, and I think that's true, but whatever. Still.
Look, I just think we're lucky he's bothering to work at all. I would have, if it had been me, I'd have been checked out a week ago.
Be blessed with my appearance.
Get the old KC flu. You know what I mean?
Woo flu.
We're going to play a game called Getting to Know Mac Maury Before He Ditches Us, coming up in the 2:05 segment of the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hang in for that. This programming alert, in addition to Mac Maury and a special edition of Friday Mac Attack coming up at 2:05 this afternoon, Cameron Smith is here from the Tennessee, and he got here a little early. I didn't forget about you.
It's okay. I'm used.
That's a nice shirt.
Thank you. I'm full Hawaiian.
You're looking good.
Thank you. No hair, big beard.
Yeah, you did do the trim, didn't you? Apparently, you've not made the commitment not to cut your hair. You're not doing the Locks for Trump commitment, as I am.
What?
I'm doing Locks for Trump.
Locks,
I'm on day 95.
99.7, Cameron. Check it out sometime.
Yeah, it's a radio station in town. You know, we talk about things. DJ T, Donald Trump. All right, so let's back up.
Is Manda's doing this too?
No, I'm doing this. I started on March 1st, Locks for Trump. I'm not cutting my hair until we get a new president-elect. And I call it Locks for Trump. It's day 95.
Okay.
We had a big debate over whether a trim is a cut.
I think it is.
Yes.
Everybody in America.
What?
Everybody in America thinks it is.
What do you use? Scissors? Yeah.
I was just trying to shape it up there, Cameron. Mac, all of you.
When you look homeless, it'll be fun.
All right, we'll get your thought on the executive action from yesterday. We'll get his thoughts on a few other things happening in Washington, D.C. and around the state of Tennessee, plus a special Wednesday edition of Friday Mac Attack coming up after the news on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Two o'clock, I'm Mac Maury with your top stories. 86 degrees, a sunny day on Music Row. We do have a chance for thunderstorms here this afternoon, headed into this evening. Full weather forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Day 3 of Hunter Biden's trial in Wilmington, Delaware today, and on the witness stand, his ex-wife of 25 years, Kathleen Bewley, along with an ex-girlfriend who met him right after his divorce in 2017. Zoe Keston told the court their relationship was highlighted by Biden's crack addiction and said he would use drugs, quote, every 20 minutes. Biden's accused of lying on a form about his addiction to obtain a firearm. Olivia Rubin with more.
Prosecutors have laid out how Hunter Biden was addicted to drugs for years, but the defense is zoning in on those 11 days when Hunter owned the gun. That is the critical time here. And although prosecutors went through dozens of text messages spanning a year about Hunter talking about drugs, buying drugs, sending photos of what appeared to be drugs, the defense zoned in and said that there was none of that during that time period.
And here in Nashville, an update on the investigation into the death of a man after getting hit in the head by a bar security guard in February. The Tennessean says a medical examiner has determined 26-year-old Austin Turner died from homicide by blunt force trauma after getting slugged by a security guard outside the Tin Roof Bar on Demumbium Street. This happened in February. Police say it happened outside after Turner had been denied entry. For now, that security guard, Richard Cornelius, is only charged with aggravated assault. That's the latest news. Weather on the way. I'm Mac Maury, WTN News.
Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Safe House. Nashville Safe House is located on 4th Avenue South. When you go by, you'll see the incredible selection of beautiful safes of all shapes and sizes and all brand names as well. They have Browning, and they are the #1 Browning dealer in the United States of America. They have more Browning safes than anyone in the United States of America, and that means they have more Browning safes than anybody in the universe. Why? Because Browning has such superior fire safety ratings. They're just a really, really good brand of safe. But there are other price points for every individual that is buying, and there are other brands. If you have a particular like of a particular brand, they've got it in Nashville Safe House. They have something for you. They've got biometric safes that you can keep at the bedside to make sure that your gun is safe and sound, but it is ready when needed. You know what? It doesn't take time to get a safe at Nashville Safe House because they have something in stock, and they have professional delivery guys that are going to deliver it to you competently, and you don't have to worry about these folks coming into your house because they are employees of Nashville Safe House. That's nice. Not a third party, not some dudes off the street. NashvilleSafeHouse.com, or better yet, stop by on 4th Avenue South. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you to the one and only Nashville Safe House across from City Cemetery. It's Nashville Safe House. Hello. All right, lots going on. Well, you know what? There's not a lot going on. I try to be as honest with you as I can possibly be. There's this stupid executive thing that happened yesterday. There's the Hunter Biden trial. We're anticipating a summer season of political shenanigans. It's all good. We've got Cameron Smith in the house. We welcome him on these Wednesdays. Hello, Mr. Smith.
Hello, Matt.
How are you?
Given the option of writing about Hunter Biden's trial or the executive order, the most recent column I'm working on is about blueberries. This is dumb.
Well, look, there is some stuff that I want to talk to you about at 2:30, and it's some great reporting that's been done by Brian Wilson and Michael Patrick Leahy of the Tennessee Star regarding some updates on the Covenant School shooting. Brian had an incredible interview last week, and he's followed up with that on a couple of things. So we're going to talk about that.
Cool.
I'll get your take on the executive action presented yesterday by Joe. Joe Biden's acting tough, baby. Tough.
This is spicy, Joe.
I mean, let me tell you something. For those that don't believe that thing did anything, I ask of you to do what I did last night, and that is go across the platforms, your news and information platforms, and look at all of the articles and look at the headlines on the articles and count the number of times you see the word tough. And I would suggest to you that they are accomplishing their goal.
Yes. What if I told you that there was collusion between the White House and the media on presenting a perspective?
What?
The fact that there's literally ongoing litigation about the White House leveraging social media about fake news and whatnot. Well, what happens about the news that's just like, well, we really want to give him a thumbs up to save democracy?
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Democracy's on the ballot, Cameron.
It is.
I don't know if you knew that.
You can vote for democracy or Donald Trump. You cannot vote for both.
You know who's going to miss this?
What?
McMurray.
He makes, I can't even look at him. I'm going to cry.
He's going to miss that.
Stop.
He's leaving.
He is.
It is sad.
So in honor of Maury, and to demonstrate how much truly he has meant to all of us here at Super Talk 99.7 WT, and particularly the Matt Murphy Show. I don't know what journey McMurray and Chris Hand are going to go on. I don't know. I don't know what journey over the next few days that McMurray will take with the behemoth that is Brian Wilson and the drive in the afternoons. But I know what destiny we're going to go for on this show. And something occurred to me this morning. Belle, you ready with my music? Don't do it yet. I'll point. Are you ready with it? The thing that I talked about 10 minutes ago that you said that you would get? Okay. That's great.
So hard to
I'll sing it.
Goodbye.
I have the short version, but the long version.
Do you have the short? I just need something. Well, hold on. If you've got it, you've got it. So, thank you. Get away. Get out of here. Okay, now we. Yeah, see, you remember you were talking about earlier about ruining the bit?
In fairness, you did point just now.
so good. I will miss this.
So it's a failure of mine. It's a failure of mine that I.
This is going great.
I feel like I ask over the years my producers, including the wonderful and talented Belle Kay, to read my mind, and so in an effort to kind of repair that, I ask. 30 minutes, I said, hey, do we still have that Julie Andrews getting to know you that we used to do? Because I want to use it when we get Mac over here. And Belle said, oh, yeah, I got it. You're so mean. He gave me a look. What the hell are you talking about? And go! Yeah. So it occurred to me that, how well do we really know Mac Morey?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
He looks way too nice.
Yeah, he looks squirrely.
What?
Looks squirrely over there.
I'm a nice man.
It looks like he's wearing a Saved by the Bell polo today. Can you trust a guy like that?
Mac looks like he gets up every morning and his mantra to start the day is, I want to make Mama proud.
It's probably true. She's probably listening too.
So in the spirit of, you know what, I feel like we need to get to know you a little bit better before we lose you.
Okay,
so in the spirit of that, I've come up with a little Q&A.
Oh, okay.
But I think might be a bit fun. And so I don't want you to think that this is a setup. So here's what we're going to do. Mm-hmm. I have found on the intrawebs,
this is
from Women's Health Magazine,
What?
260 questions to ask someone to get to know them better.
Oh, this is great. So we're like kind of dating.
Yeah, like we're dating.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Okay.
So you get to pick a number.
Ooh.
And I will go to the corresponding question. There's 1 through 260. And then I'll ask the question, you will answer it, and then we will viciously ridicule you for a few moments, and then we'll go on to another one.
Okay.
Okay, so
I like this.
Yeah, there we go. So before we lose him, we should get to know him better. Mac Morey, select a number.
Well, obviously, I'm going to pick numbers of Chiefs players. So let's go with 87, Travis Kelce.
87.
Are you a goat?
That's just me. I've got to get to the question. 87. Does your work routine vary, or does it look the same every day or every week?
It's chaos every day. Yeah, that's it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It really depends day to day whether he shows up.
Yeah, whether I decide I'm going to come in, pretty much. So.
And it depends on the things Chris says. Because sometimes Chris makes it weird, and Mac's like, hey, that's a thing.
I think Mac's making it weird, too.
Yeah.
I don't think it's only hand making it weird. But that's what makes it fun, right?
The visible hand is serious.
I think their relationship has been fun to watch blossom.
Yes.
Because I don't think Hand knew how to take him, and I don't think Mac knew how to take Hand.
Yeah.
But now that they've learned one another, like Hand knows how to push him.
Oh, yeah. He loves it.
And he loves doing it.
Loves provoking me.
All right, another number. Should I just go to number 15 or what?
I'm waiting on that.
Fine.
58. The late great Derek Thomas. Wow.
Hello.
I like Matt.
What is your name, sir? And what have you done with Belle Kay? Getting to know you.
I like Matt sounding like a goat.
Yes.
I like Matt's sound too.
Matt's sound was better.
What'd you say? Number what?
58.
58. Number 58. Are you more... This is stupid. This is Women's Health Magazine, ladies and gentlemen. You might have to break into the hundreds. I think we're in a zone here where they're...
Okay, we'll go
I think they're cattle... this is in an area called career. Number 58. Are you more of a work... I thought my mic went off for a second.
You're there.
Are you more of a work to live type of person or a live to work type of person? Let's say your new job in Kansas City, working with the Chiefs affiliate on the morning show as executive producer. Yeah. Are you more of a live to work kind of guy or a work to live kind of guy?
At that point, I'll be living to work. Yeah, it'll be great.
You'll love it every day.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing.
Unlike this misery that you've been putting yourself through.
I love you guys.
So compare and contrast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Are you this is off the board. This is off the Women's Health Magazine board.
Okay.
Are you right now wearing your Kansas City Chiefs underpants?
I'm not yet. I'm very excited about this, though.
Are those standard issue?
Yeah, well, I mean, they're breathable. I saw in the packaging.
So we got Maury a little gift.
Very nice.
And it was because, I mean, how many days did you go wearing Kansas City Chiefs gear?
46, 47. I was right there.
Could
50.
you have gone further? I mean, were there some items?
I may have been able to rummage something
some
else.
dregs?
Yeah. I just kind of forgot on the 48.
So we kind of felt like you didn't have enough. So we got him some more KC gear.
Undies, socks, Super Bowl shirt.
When it's your team, you can never have enough.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the way I feel about it. I mean, and the Super Bowl shirt is specifically designed, and I would beg of you, just find one of those sad things that you wore toward the end and just, it's okay. It's all right to get rid of them.
No.
It's all right.
You must frame them.
Or whatever. Just do what you need to do. You just retire them is what you need to do.
No, in my house, we have this problem. I don't think we ever have gotten rid of a University of the Alabama shirt. We turn it into a yard shirt.
Yeah,
mow the lawn.
And it's like, well, this is what you do, but you don't get rid of it.
Yeah, come on. No,
I mean, and I literally have some that they're falling apart completely. They're not useful for anything, but I'm like, do we give this away? We can't throw it away.
You make a quilt. You can make a T-shirt quilt. I mean, that's what Women's Health Magazine just told me. All right, give me another number, please.
138.
138. Getting ourselves out of the career category, we hope. Question number 138, according to Women's Health Magazine. Oh, this is in the values section.
Here we go.
All right.
Here we go. Well,
Getting deep.
God, this is what women read, man. This is
doing?
Women's Health Magazine, not memory. Question 138. Don't make me laugh. Do you believe time you enjoy wasting is not wasted time?
God. Do I enjoy time being wasted?
Do you believe time you enjoy wasting is not wasted time?
Intentionally wasted time is not wasted.
I'm playing video games.
Yeah, absolutely.
You and me playing some, remember the time when you were still my friend and you said that we were going to play Tecmo Super Bowl? Remember that?
Yes.
Remember when
I would enjoy that.
But that's wasting time.
Yeah,
but that's not wasted time.
No, it's not wasted
time.
Well,
because you're doing it together.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all about the friendship, the spirit of friendship. Give me another number.
Let's go a little higher, 165.
165. What, if anything, do you think happens after death? Now we're getting
here we
into
go.
it.
Let's go. Here we go. Oh, no.
I'm
this is going to get me in trouble.
And your mom's listening.
I am so nervous.
Dude, just remember, you're leaving, so you'll leave the trouble behind.
I would strongly encourage you. I don't know. I wouldn't.
Let's do a new number.
You picked
I don't know.
What, if anything, do you think happens after death?
Who knows? I hope something. That'd be cool.
Burial.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, funeral.
It's always the safe answer.
A lot of tears. A lot of tears of joy in my case.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you. He's gone. All right, let's get away from these. No. 167 is great. How do you define beauty?
Yep. Go. There we go.
How do you define beauty?
Yeah.
If we could get just a solo shot of our guy Cameron Smith, I
knew it.
Yes,
I was
that's
confident
it, baby. With
in his
that beard,
answer.
are you kidding me?
See,
that's
one of these days you'll learn and you'll say things like Hannah.
Yeah, that was the right answer.
That was the correct answer.
Right,
and you went with the dude sitting next to you. Okay. All
right. Give me
good.
Give me a rando. Give me another rando number. Anywhere 1 through 260. Just random. Go.
212.
212, which is apparently the number of Super Bowl championships that McMurray thinks. Oh, this is good. 212. What is the first thing that you do in the morning?
Look at my phone. Well, actually, no. I roll over. No, this is not even me trying to. I roll over, and next to Hannah, I say good morning. Give her a little kiss. Say good morning, baby.
Do you wake up before Hannah?
I do.
Typically,
most of the times. I should. She goes to work before me, but I just can't. I'm up.
All right, and so you kind of the first thing that she wakes up to is a nice good morning.
Yeah, a little kiss on the cheek. Good morning. Most of the times, yeah, it's a grunt back.
You know what you try,
you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
Try this one. Try this.
Okay, great.
Right,
yeah.
Try this one. Throw the good morning out there, and then say something along the lines of, "Ooh, that breath." Do that. See what happens.
I've definitely.
Or if you really want to shake it up, Justine
Woo.
made me mad. My wife made me mad, a while back, and I'm like, those night farts seem wicked. And then for the rest of the week, she's like, but I don't recall that. I was like, I'm pretty sure you were asleep.
That's wonderful.
And then you just convince somebody that they pass gas in their sleep. And for the lady people, that is just torture.
That's great.
And they say the romance is dead.
Yeah, man.
No, man. And any other numbers come to mind? Go.
176.
176. I think we're back in the value section.
Oh,
I didn't realize they did them this way.
Myself.
176. Do you live by any words of wisdom?
Yes.
Words of wisdom. When in doubt, order the trout. Those are words of wisdom.
What's the Muhammad Ali quote? You've got to play until you get punched in the mouth. That sort of thing.
That's Mike Tyson.
That's Mike Tyson.
Yes.
What did I say?
You said Muhammad Ali.
Oh, my fault. Yes,
Everybody's got a plan.
Everybody's got a plan, and I think those are great words of wisdom. Everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the mouth.
Because inevitably life will punch you in the mouth.
That's exactly
Better
right.
be ready to go.
I live by Yoda's words of wisdom.
Do or do not, there is no try.
The do or do not, there is no try.
Nice.
Or the better scene, and it's more difficult to do just in conversation. Do or do not, there is no try is great.
Yeah.
But the whole scene where Luke tries to lift the Millennium Falcon, not Millennium Falcon, the X-Wing fighter, and he can't, and then Yoda does it, and Luke says, "I don't believe it," and he says, "That is why you fail." And that's heavy. That's heavy stuff, man. I mean, you got to believe it. You got to believe it.
I actually have just taken to quoting The Mandalorian and just doing stuff and then saying, "This is the way."
This is the way.
See, I haven't seen The Mandalorian. Is anybody going to watch that other thing? What is that called? The Acolyte?
No, ever since Disney got Star
couple.
Wars, it's really just not. Just saying, it's not great.
It's not good?
Disney Star Wars stuff is just, I don't like it.
The Mandalorian is Disney Star Wars stuff.
Well, I
like the quote. I didn't say I liked it.
I have has anybody seen the commercial where the Boba Fetts are all at the Boba Fett convention and they're looking, it's like a phone thing where you find the guy?
Yeah.
I have an unnatural hatred of that commercial.
Wait, why?
Well, I want to hurt all of those people. I want to smack them all around. Just an unnatural anger toward those folks. I don't know why. I don't know what it is, but I see the commercial, I just get angry.
I wish you would have been in the boardroom. That guy pitches that. Hey!
What?
When's the
hell are you talking about?
When is the next Dork convention in town?
Actually, I'm in trouble because I didn't realize that CrimeCon was here last weekend.
Oh, what?
I know.
What is that?
CrimeCon is like true crime. The true crime convention was in Nashville last weekend.
That's actually pretty cool.
It was pretty good. Chris Hansen was here. Why don't you go ahead and take a seat? Chris Hansen to catch a predator?
Okay.
You don't know Chris Hansen?
Oh, my goodness.
I'd go
Chris
outside.
Hansen was on the To Catch a Predator. No, it was brutal. Those meetups,
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah, why don't you take a seat?
Yeah, why don't you calm down? Why don't you go ahead and take a seat?
He would let you destroy your own life and then interview you about it.
No, so they would, it was a police sting operations where they would act as 13 or 14-year-old kids and they would find child predators online and then they would eventually create a hookup. And Chris Hansen would be there along with the police. And the guy would show up. And every episode, and I know this wasn't every episode, but in my mind, in every episode, the guy would show up with like candy, wine coolers, and like other stuff, like sexual stuff.
Okay.
And I won't get into that, but it's like
pizza,
condoms, a CD, pizza, and wine cooler.
Yeah,
always with the wine cooler.
Yeah, always.
Because that's what I was.
Oh, it's the
I was
worst.
worried about her.
It's
was
so
gross.
bad.
It was
It's disgusting.
So, but the moment that Hanson's like, hey, no, come on in, and the guy knows he's caught. And, no, just take a seat. Just go ahead and take a seat. Great. Anyway, Hanson was down.
South Park did a spoof of it, and it was about in the scene where Cartman gets busted because Cartman's the bad guy.
Oh, that's
Cartman's
great.
trying to leave, and the guy's just like, no, just take a seat. Just take a seat. I got to get out of here. Just sit down.
I like South
Let's do
Park.
one more. Make it good. One more. Let's just go ahead and do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's just go ahead and do the number.
Yeah, the GOAT.
The last number, what number is he?
15.
Patrick Beamy Holmes here.
Referring to Captain Big Helmet.
What's your What's your go-to guilty pleasure?
Ooh.
Your go-to guilty pleasure. Besides all the illegal drugs that I'm certain that you're, you know,
exactly.
What is your go-to guilty pleasure?
Please don't tell me it overlaps with anything that's like To Catch a Predator.
So some answers that we will not accept that would do well for you.
Wine coolers.
Loving on my Hannah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Extra hugs.
Doesn't he strike you as an extra hugs guy?
Look at him.
Like hugs.
Oh, gee. Gross.
I would say video games. Is that guilty pleasure? Does that count? I mean,
do you feel guilty?
For me, it is.
Not really.
For me, it is because it goes back to the wasted time thing. Like that's the reason I got rid of my iRacing rig.
Because that's fair. I feel like if I'm playing for over like an hour, maybe even it depends on the day, but like over an hour, I'm like, okay, this is.
What am I doing with my life?
This is getting
right.
bad. Yeah.
If you're by yourself, if you're with someone else, it's different because there's the camaraderie.
Oh yeah, it's fine.
Right, but if you're by yourself, you're like, what am I doing?
Well, a lot of time I'm by myself with Hannah sitting right next to me, and she's like doing something on her phone. She's just looking at me. She's like, ugh.
Does that not send a signal to you? Like,
maybe I need to stop.
Hey, person who I love.
No, of course we do that too. We talk, but sometimes
we do the words sometimes.
Sometimes.
Well, look, we'll do this tomorrow.
Joyful.
And then obviously Friday. We won't do necessarily the Women's Health magazine version.
For Friday, we're going to draft, obviously. We'll have our last draft.
Yes.
I want to take it to the Members Nutrition Super Text line. We've always said we were going to do this for a draft. Like, hey, let's get some suggestions. Last draft, at least in person for a while. Let's get some suggestions. It could be topical. It could be best last something, or it could just be a really solid option.
Worst McMurray moment.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, absolutely. So send us your text.
I've got some nominations. The banana pudding shake day.
So that was a great moment.
I mean, worst/best.
Yeah, remember they wouldn't let us do the interview on the air?
I know. That's why
Whataburger was like, no, sorry.
Nah, we're not going to
Corporate policy.
Whatever.
Yeah, what?
Losers.
You know, I'm still sick from eating all those moon pies.
Moon pies
that's
are good. High up there.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Love
Potted
the moon.
meat was better.
That was a great day.
Remember the potted meat?
Oh, never again.
Didn't we eat like a mayonnaise sandwich at one point?
Oh yeah, we ate peanut butter and mayonnaise.
We ate peanut butter and mayonnaise,
God.
which makes potted meat sound like Ruth's Chris.
I was about to say potted meat. Seriously, I didn't know. Seriously, J. Alexander's. No, potted meat. Yeah, it was that. I would say peanut butter and mayonnaise is worse
than potted meat.
I think so.
We should do a processed meat potluck at some point, and everybody brings in their processed meat, and we just sample it.
Yeah, as long as it's after Friday.
No bad ideas in a brainstorming session. That's what they say. Speaking of brainstorming, we're going to brainstorm on this for a moment. Mac Moore is going to be with us for the rest of the week, and then he's dead permanently to all of us here at Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Back after this. Hey, friends, Matt Murphy for Savory Spice. There are two big locations to serve you. Well, the shops aren't so big, but they're very convenient to you. On Charlotte Pike in L&L Market, Savory Spice is right there inside of the market. Over in Franklin, they're right off the square, right next to Gray's Pharmacy. When you walk in, here's a wonderful thing. You'll smell it. I mean, the smell of spices and just different flavors. You'll get a little bit of curry. You'll get a little bit of garlic. You'll get a little bit of oregano. You'll get all of those spices and flavors. And the wonderful thing is, if you want to test a spice, you just pour some out in your hand. You can sniff on it. You can lick on it if you want to, and then you just throw it on the floor. That's what Holly says. Just throw it on the floor. Don't worry about it. Just throw it on the floor. after you're done with your spice. And then if it comes, because they have the samples all around. And then when it comes to purchasing, they will take the spice and they will personally prepare your container of spice from Savory Spice. It's a personalized level of service. Plus, they have great gift ideas, gift giving for the person that loves to cook in the kitchen in your life. If you don't know your way around the kitchen, they've got the Spice and Easy plans for you. So they do the spices for you. All you have to do is buy the meat, cook the meat, put the spices in, and you're ready to go for a well-prepared meal. Savory Spice, locally owned and operated. I love these guys, Holly and David. You'll love them too. Stop by and see the best of the best, the creme de la creme. It's Savory Spice. Hey, friends, Matt Murphy here for Tennessee Men's Clinic. Gentlemen, let's talk. And I understand this is a relatively personal conversation, but it's a conversation that needs to be had nonetheless. Are you feeling sluggish or run down? Do you know why? Have you lost energy, motivation, or drive? Has this manifested itself, as an example, at the gym? Or perhaps, even more delicate, the bedroom? If you have any of these issues, if you reflect on this and think, yeah, you know what, this is happening to me. Maybe it's in the beginning stages. Maybe you haven't noticed in intimate activities, but you've noticed in other activities. It is time to do something about this. Gentlemen, it is something that affects half of us as we mature. And it's nothing to deny. There's nothing to put off or be ashamed about. As a matter of fact, most men who contact Tennessee Men's Clinic, their biggest regret is that they did not do so sooner. Do not wait. Some men come after other things have failed, and that's all well and good. No surgery, no downtime. Multiple urologists and providers can assist you, and there are a couple of different locations to serve. One's in Cool Springs, the other 10 years in Midtown now. Feel amazing again. Hit your goals again. I'm telling you, folks, a lot of times you can get in same day or next day appointments. 615-208-9090. Do this, men. 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com.
Hunter Biden trial plus the CDC letting us know about a foodborne illness outbreak 2:30, which is now.
So that's on me. I think that's I don't know if that's Bell being mean or what. I don't know what's going on. But I know this. We're off kilter. We're off schedule. And I just blame Mac Morey fully.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what we can do. Hey, Mac, You got those headlines? They sound so delicious. Go ahead and do them right now on Super Talk.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now 2:33, I'm Mac Maury with your top stories. 87 degrees, sunny in Music City. Got a weather forecast coming up in just a couple of minutes. Day 3 of Hunter Biden's trial in Wilmington, Delaware today, and on the witness stand, his ex-wife of 25 years, Kathleen Buell, along with an ex-girlfriend who met him right after his divorce in 2017. Zoe Keston told the court their relationship was highlighted by Biden's crack addiction and said he was used drugs, quote, every 20 minutes. Biden's accused of lying on a form about his addiction to obtain a firearm. Olivia Rubin has more on how Creston's testimony could hinder the defense's arguments.
Sort of could possibly undercut what the defense said in their opening arguments, which is that there is no such thing as a high-functioning crack addict. Here, Zoe is describing the relationship, staying at hotels together for days on end, going to nightclubs, going out to dinners, meeting her friends, going to events together, and just saying, he was the same person. Everyone loved him.
Over to the CDC, they say a foodborne illness outbreak has sent more than 50 people to hospitals, and the bacteria may be linked to cucumbers. Brian Clark has details.
Cucumbers that may have been contaminated with salmonella are no longer being sold in stores, but the CDC says if you can't tell where yours came from, don't eat it. Mini cucumbers and English cucumbers are not included in the advisory. The potentially contaminated cucumbers were produced in Florida by Fresh Start Produce and shipped from May 17th through 21st. The CDC says it's gotten complaints from over 160 people in 25 states and Washington, D.C.
And that is the latest news. Weather on the way. I'm Mac Maury, WTN News.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN, Matt Murphy, and you. And Cameron Smith's with us. We'll be visited by Brian Wilson coming up in moments. He'll tell us what's happening on the drive this afternoon. Several of you have been holding on for some time, and I'll beg of Cameron Smith the ability to head to the phones and go to Jerry in Kingston Springs. Jerry, thank you for your patience. How are you, sir?
Good. Figures the one time I would call, you guys start playing Jeopardy on the air.
I know. We suck.
What's with all the M's on your station? You got Mandis, Mac Morey, Matt Murphy. It's a lot of M's, man.
I know, too many. And I try to corner the M market, and it's why I call him boss man Dandis, and then we're eliminating Morey out of the mix. So, and I demanded no more M's. No more M's. Yeah.
You guys are great. Yeah, I like the Three Amigos, but you guys are running up close to them now.
Oh.
When the overlap. I like the overlaps.
It's high praise, buddy.
Freestyle, I love it. Anyway, you brought up something really interesting earlier that I agree with about liberals trying to get them to focus on Biden when you ask them questions about why they think he's so great and Trump's so, they have to bring up Trump. They can't leave him out of the conversation. I had a friend who's a lawyer down here in Tennessee, a big shot lawyer. And he's from New York, but he lives down here, and he's got dual citizenship in Ukraine and all this stuff. Anyway, I used to argue with him, and he would always bring up Trump. So one day we're sitting in the diner, and I showed him a video of Biden talking about the Ukraine thing where he threatened a guy to take the money back or fire the investigator that was going to investigate his son. Remember that? He never saw that video. And this was years after it was floating around on Facebook and all. And I'm like, how do you not know about this video? And I showed it to him. I'm like, there's smoking gun right there that he's corrupt. And you're still worried about Trump's tax return and some hooker that he had a fling with back before he was president?
Hey,
really?
Hey, whoa. Jerry, hold on. Jerry.
Yeah.
I have to correct you on something.
Okay.
Porn star.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's true.
Adult actress.
Poor space.
Well, look. I mean, it's kind of. Cameron and I were just talking about a derivative of this, and thank you for the call, Jay. I got to scoot. We were talking about an offshoot of this off air, and that is my rule number 2 for liberals, and that is they always overplay their hand. Rule number 1 is they think you're dumb. Rule number 2, they always overplay their hand. And I'll give you an example of what you're talking about. I challenged liberals because we were discussing the possibility of I want to have a liberal lunch on Wednesdays during the summer, where during the 12 o'clock hour, I invite a liberal on and just to talk to them. I don't want to argue. I don't want to debate. I just want to talk to you. I want to know where you're coming from because I think we need to understand these people. And you were talking about the openness that the hostility, how that open hostility exists when you're just trying to call balls and strikes with regard to the outcome of this trial, for example.
Yeah.
And I'll give you an example of exactly what you're talking about. You were like, they don't even take the wins where they get the wins.
Right.
So did you hear that Alvin Bragg's office is attempting to continue the gag order on Trump?
Yes, I saw that.
Like that's not even a good move.
No.
Right? Here's what you don't want. You don't want Trump running around the country saying, I could say everything about how awful and corrupt this is, but they won't let me.
That seems worse.
Than him trying to explain. The old rule of politics is if it takes you longer to explain.
If you're explaining, you're losing.
Right. And so, they say convicted felon. Trump has to explain.
I'm not.
That he's not. And so you're winning.
Right.
But what Alvin Bragg wants to do is take that away from them. You're overplaying your hand. It's a dumb political maneuver.
Well,
plus it's unconstitutional.
The thing that I run into all the time is if you want me not to support a candidate, tell me I don't have a choice. Mm-hmm. Tell me I must. And it doesn't matter of the party or whatever. The MAGA folks that are like, if you don't support Donald Trump, you support Joe Biden. I'm like, And the ones that with Biden are like, either you love democracy and will vote for Joe Biden or else. I'm like, I mean, I have choices. I'm a voter. I get to pick. And so you must do this thing and Democrats have particularly been bad about this. It's you must say it this way. You must be this way. You must this is the orthodoxy, and if you deviate from that, then you are punished. And I that makes my skin crawl.
Well, and you see it in mainstream media as well. And I don't expect that they would admit to direct collusion, but indirectly they're doing the same thing, as in every Republican that sits down on MSNBC or CNN or ABC, CBS, NBC, you know, do you defend? I mean, they have to pass the litmus test before they're allowed to speak. Like, do you agree with the verdict? And you know, they were doing this for about 24 hours after Donald Trump said we're living in a fascist state. Do you believe this is a fascist state? I was like, what? Wait, hold on a second. You know, do I believe that Donald Trump has a right to be upset and frustrated? Do I think he has a right to his own opinion about where we're going? And yeah, of course I believe.
But
Do you? But
you're not allowed to explain that.
Right, and you're not allowed to say that. You have to say yes or no.
And this is what makes me, I'm visibly mad about this stuff when it happens.
Don't
because
look at him, guys.
It is this idea that, well, you know what's wrong with Republicans? Is they're just Trump acolytes. They are all on the same team. And the same media that does that says, do you support everything he says or not? Do you? Do you? Do you? And then it's like, wait a minute. I have always maintained that I want to get it right. I want, when Trump's wrong, he's wrong. I'll make that call. But where they're pushing me right now, the Democrats, is if you say anything positive about Trump, then you are a threat to democracy.
And all of them that are doing that, these same political players, ran with a Russian collusion story.
Mm-hmm.
Ran with the laptop was a Russian laptop story. 51 experts say so. I mean, they run with it, and it always seems that they run with the stories that supports their guy and is confirming to their narrative. They never do it on the other side. They claim, well, that's what the information told us at the time. Information never tells you anything that's positive for Trump. The information never tells you anything that's negative for Joe Biden, because that's the way it seems.
Because you're a liar. And that's what happens, and that what makes me so mad is if there's any human being, politician or otherwise, you're like, they're always right or they're always wrong. That's just not reality, and that's what happens. And then I have not made up my mind on, I'm not voting for Joe Biden. I'm still looking at Trump and saying, But the Democrats are like pushing me to do that. They're like, please vote for Trump, because if you don't vote for Joe Biden, we hate you.
Ray just wrote in, I'm not making this up, seconds ago. Okay, maybe a minute ago. Matt, ask Cameron Romney
fair,
if he will be voting for Trump in November.
I don't know.
Why don't you know? I mean, a legit question.
Yeah.
Legit question.
And I think that's
You're
fair.
informed.
Yeah. And this has been my concern all along is, would I vote in Trump? Would I pick Trump out of a lineup and say, this is my guy, I want to get behind him? No, I wouldn't do that. When you put it in a context of Joe Biden or Donald Trump, and this is the most compelling case to me, did you like the way things were going under Trump more than Joe Biden? And the answer is yes. Like, that's true. And I don't like, I don't like being forced into a binary choice. I really don't. I'm a kind of a double hater. I don't like either one. And I'm telling you, Democrats are pushing on me to like really pull for Trump. I mean, I'm going to vote Republican. The question is, am I going to write in a Republican for president, or am I going to vote for Donald Trump?
I've got a thought on that in a second, but I can't get away from this. Jason, one of our best super texters that we have on the membersnutrition.com super text line, says, Matt, this inviting a liberal on Wednesdays kind of thing, I think it's kind of played out. You've been having one on at 2:00 every Wednesday afternoon for the last.
Thanks, Jason. Appreciate that. I understand you guys.
No, we need that. Here's the thing, though. A lot of conservative Trump supporters will smart at what you just said. Yeah. Here's what I would tell you. We need Cameron. That is the point that I'm trying to make, is that we don't need to tell Cameron that he can go to hell in a handbasket. We need to bring Cameron in and help and discuss with him as a conservative that is a little itchy about Trump. Here's what I would ask you, and this is going to kind of repair it with the audience in my head for a minute. Depending on how you answer, and I honestly don't know how you answer. Would you feel the same way if you didn't live in Tennessee? In other words, would your analysis of where you are on your vote change if you lived in Michigan?
That's a tough one. The swing state aspect to me is it matters. Like, if Trump's going to win Tennessee, and I know that, right?
That's exactly.
And
that's
so
right.
Now, if my
That's
vote,
why I asked.
if
Yeah.
my vote mattered, and I'm like
it could legit change the swing of the state.
So, and I've told a lot of y'all this. The reason I look at it is I look at whoever I vote for, whoever I pull for, I'm willing to stand behind them and say, that's my leader, right? And my question with boys in my house, with the example that Trump sets, I understand people can say, well, it's not about being a good church leader. It's not about all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But is that the kind of man that I want to tell my sons, I'm willing to line up behind his leadership?
Are you telling your son the truth about past presidents?
Yeah.
Like JFK?
I didn't vote for JFK.
FDR? I'm not asking you that. Are you telling them the truth about these past presidents that they honor?
Not just presidents.
I mean, don't we honor JFK?
I tell them the truth. And my point.
Let's not pretend that Trump is somehow different.
They don't honor the truth. Do I think Trump is different than some of these guys? Yeah, but are all unique. Like, if the idea is they're all corrupt, it doesn't matter.
JFK was a philandering drug abuser. And we honor him.
I didn't vote for JFK.
Well, but once again, are you teaching your? I mean, what are we teaching our kids? That all the past presidents have been wonderful and awesome, and this president is different?
No, I don't teach them that. I teach them the truth. I talk about those things as they ask me questions, and so this is about a personal stance.
Well, you're suggesting that by demonstration, if you vote for Donald Trump, that you're somehow teaching your children a bad lesson.
I'm not saying that you're teaching your children or anybody else's. I'm saying I'm telling my kids when I vote for somebody, I'm lining up behind their leadership, and I have to have a good explanation for that to my boys. And I think that's a fair ask. And I'm not saying no. I'm simply saying I got to kind of wrestle with that a little bit. And I think that if folks don't want to wrestle with that, that's fine.
No. I mean, it's all good.
I'm not going yelling at people and saying, hey, if you do, then you're like the Democrats. Like, if you do, you hate democracy. You're complicit. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's a tough pull for me.
Y'all noticed Cameron didn't answer the Michigan question. I'm going to ask you.
It's a tough one.
That's a tough one. I get it. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. I think fair question asked and fair that you need to think about it. And I'll ask next week.
It's fair.
When we have no Mac Maury. You got one more. I got 20 seconds. You got anything to say to Mac? You won't be here on Friday unless you want to come by.
It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday.
Not as hard as it is to listen to that singing.
Exactly.
Back in a moment. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. A couple of minutes left in the Matt Murphy portion of the broadcast day, and we're going to spend that talking to Brian Wilson about what is upcoming on the drive. Mr. Wilson, I trust you are doing well today.
Yeah, we're doing well. It's been an interesting 24 hours here at my house, and I got to tell you, I had a rather sleepless night last night because I have been going through in great detail documents that reveal a lot of new information about the Covenant shooting. We have obtained these documents, and over the course of the next few days, I'm going to be sharing what I have learned, and I can tell you that a lot of what I'm going to tell you in the next few minutes, when I begin my show at 3:05, is stuff that the public has never heard about the shooting, a tremendous amount of new detail, and I got to tell you, it did have an impact on me. I mean, it's dark, some of this stuff, and I had a very sleepless night thinking about, how I would share this information with the public. I think it is in the public's interest, and since we have these documents, I feel like it's our responsibility to share them with the community.
Well, I can't wait to hear some of the new information. You've been doing great work in your capacity here at Super Talk, and I know Michael Leahy's been doing some good work over at the Tennessee Star, and you've been breaking a lot of stuff, and I can't wait to hear what Brian Wilson has to break yet again on this and he said it the right way, a very dark and tragic story of the Covenant School, and sadly, we're learning more and more about what could have been done to prevent the death of 6 of our own. Brian Wilson on the way right after McMurray's newscast, and that is coming next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hope everybody has a wonderful afternoon except Bob. Hug your loved ones. Talk to you tomorrow, folks.